Why are you wearing a tie?
Oh,
well, don't put me on fucking blast. Don't ask me why I'm wearing
Sorry.
a tie and then afford the answer.
Alec, why are you wearing a tie? This is being recorded.
Sorry,
It was
that
fu-
wasn't on purpose.
Couldn't have timed that better. Alec, why are you wearing a tie? Recording in process. I'll have you know, it was date night, and I have you know that I didn't have another beer before we left, so I'm still marginally sober. So thank you.
I mean, marginally sober is the most we ever expect from you.
Jesus, marginally sober. What the fuck?
Well, at least that wasn't Jesus Marge. What the fuck? Recording in progress. Also, it's 52 years, isn't it? So, you know, just thought
You've
I'd
been
fucking
together
dress
that
up a
long?
bit.
You know, you old bastard.
Yeah.
For now.
Did I say 52 years or 52 weeks?
You said 52 years.
hello.
Yeah.
Oh,
It
I'll
is
be fine
almost
for this,
52
honestly.
years.
What were we saying about marginally sober?
I'm fine. I'm still good.
I'm fine. This is what fine people say.
I just didn't know his dad was the.
This rotation felt like 2 years.
You enjoyed as many films in this rotation as I do normally. You can't complain.
And just because I enjoyed a few didn't mean that I wish we had better films.
Over half, to be fair.
Yeah.
Wait,
You've had fun, and you can't deny it.
Only one of the films I think was a good film.
I also want you to know, Pat, that you definitely said that sentence wrong. You said,
What?
just because I liked a few of the films doesn't mean I wish there were better films.
Yeah, well, you know what I mean. You know what I mean.
That was optimum Pat there.
That is Pat's usual rule for films.
Yeah.
Just because I enjoyed it doesn't mean I wish it was better.
I mean, yeah, that's pretty fair. 8 out of 10.
I'm just home with myself, ain't I?
Yeah.
That is quite a Homer quote, actually, yeah.
I think the thing is, we've
Martin.
all known each other for 52 years now, so it's important. Sorry.
And as usual, Rob's lost more hair and Dan's gained more.
And it's coming home.
Why is there another John at the bottom?
Because I'm only speaking in one of them.
Oh, were you speaking through the phone because it stopped you getting cut over?
Yes.
I'm smart.
I'm smart enough to know what you did.
I actually thought that was a manual.
What just names?
Name John.
Yeah, ultimate troll move. That.
I'm really going to fuck with him.
I'll leave the camera off, they'll never know.
I like that. I was like, wait, last week, John didn't get interrupted when he spoke on Zoom through his phone. So I imagine that he's gone through phone to do Zoom on this phone. So that's why I'm seeing through them. You're like, I thought that was Emmanuel. Earlier, I felt really bad, and then I ate some food and then realized I was hungry.
Look, I'm completely on your side of that, Pat. Don't worry.
My favourite thing, though, was that you were like, well, this is embarrassing. I've had some food.
I did make it.
My throat was all scratchy, and I was like, why are you scratchy throat? And then I had a drink. Turns out I was thirsty.
I do that a lot, actually.
We all do.
I think I actually did that today.
What we're finding out is that we're all really bad at looking after ourselves.
I went to Asda and I came out and I was like, oh man, I think I'm getting a cold. And then I had a drink and I was like, no, I'm all right.
What he's saying is you took the piss out of Pat, but literally in the same day.
Yeah, I
was gonna do
arguably
one
did something
for
worse.
I was going to do one for Robert. It's like, my foot really hurts. Pulls fork out of foot. Oh no, it's just fork in my foot.
Oh man, that was brilliant. That was a brilliant.
That
time.
freaked me right out.
I mean, if anyone was going to have something sticking out their foot and not notice, it'd be that grody fucker.
Well, that's the thing. Like, I trod on a fork in the kitchen. I was barefoot, and it went into the bottom of my foot, and it was like bleeding and everything. And like I kind of like just sort of casually took it out and was like, oh man. And then I looked over and Alec was in the corner, sort of like hyperventilating and nearly passing out.
I mean, yeah, it's fucking. It's like I've had messy kitchens, but I've never had a fork lying on the floor and then stepped on it.
I'm not sure that's what he took offence to.
It had to have been at an angle for you to step on it, because you can step on a fork and it won't go into. You just step on it and it's just flat, won't do anything. So it had to have been standing up. So that was.
No, it's probably just dropped a weird feet. Like it managed to like scoop it.
It made the fork one of its own.
Use the forks.
Pardon me.
Oh, shut up, Ben.
Whereabouts are you, Emmanuel?
Oh yeah. I won't be in the car for long because I'm traveling.
Oh,
Wait, I thought you were watching the movie.
I already watched it. I mean, not already. I finished watching it.
And then you started traveling?
Seems that way.
Yeah. To be honest, some of the film today, I've been watching it while I've been traveling. So
Fair enough.
it's just turned out that way today. To be honest,
Film
I've
Club
been
on
watching
tour.
on an iPad. But yeah, I put my ratings in. I'm not
let's
sure
have a
at
look.
what point I'll cut out. But I'll just say most of my views now. Because I won't be on for too long.
Yeah, that's fair enough.
That's fair.
Let's just see how much Emmanuel hated it. Come on.
I didn't hate it.
You better have hated it. Oh, what the fuck?
Murdoch really annoyed me.
I think you know it all.
So
I like Murdoch personally.
I tend to.
Which one was Murdoch?
Alfred.
He was the
Alfred.
one who let Trog
Oh,
free.
I mean, you're supposed to find him annoying.
Yeah, I find it really hard to watch characters like that. I'm just like, can you just go die, please? Get out the way. 'Cause I'm trying to watch a film. Thanks.
And then we didn't even get to see him die. He just got hurt.
He didn't die.
Yeah.
I mean,
but
I'm
get-
pretty sure. I'm pretty sure he didn't die.
Yeah, he was just unconscious. I get the like where they was going with the film and stuff. So overall, I thought it was like I gave it a 4 overall because it's just like, yeah, I mean, it was just below kind of like 5, I would say, like in the middle for me. So it's just like, okay, I did find it boring for me personally, but that's just because it wasn't in a way that I guess the way it was written, it wasn't in a way I was that interested in it, but I thought it was kind of cool what they were trying to do. Just showing how so many people are against this kind of being, this, they keep calling monsters, and the fact that, anyway, I thought it was all right. Yeah, it wasn't my thing.
Well, that's good. I'm pleased with that. That's exactly where it should be, a 4, which is overall what it ended up as, 4.2. Which is the manual score is the average, which is just...
Would have been higher if it wasn't for John.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, it doesn't deserve any higher. It was fucking garbage.
Oh,
It was just old.
Yeah, old and garbage.
Old and honestly, I think the fluffy slippers deserve more credit.
Oh my
Because
God.
I think that they went, we need to do a costume, and they had a monkey head, they had some nice slippers, and they were like, oh, that's fine. That'll do. That'll do.
I suppose you better do your.
I understood what they were going for.
I suppose you better do your introduction, Ben.
Well, I picked Trog because it was notoriously, well, it had this reputation as being a bad film in general. But
that was very politically worded.
But it had sort of like, it had this special place in my family's heart for a reason of being the actor who played Trog just happens to be my aunt's brother.
I was really worried you were going to say your aunt. It's
Yeah.
like, no.
Yeah, there was no prosthetics going on. It was just kind of rough time in it.
And my aunt has always spoken like, what, in the kind of way that Joan Crawford would speak of Trog, very embarrassed and kind of a bit like, I'd rather this didn't exist, but
Oh, her brother.
happens to be my brother in this silly B movie of the 70s. And because he was an actual a real life wrestler of that era. And
Oh,
he did all sorts of stuff in the 70s and late 80s. He even wrote an autobiography, which you can actually buy on secondhand bookstores and on eBay.
Stop trying to steal your family shit.
Yeah, and it was his only it's the biggest thing he ever did. Joe Cornelius, but as you can see, it didn't really take his career off, did it? So,
I mean, it's hard to get a career takeoff when your face isn't visible.
yeah, exactly. And it's he I think that what's funny about the film is that everyone in it was kind of in on the joke. Like, they knew they were making a bad film. They knew it was going to be the lowest budget they could imagine. Like I was saying to Rob and Alec, that the costume is from a second-hand prop from 2001: The Space Odyssey.
oh no.
So they couldn't even be bothered to actually design a brand new gorilla suit from scratch. They just borrowed bits from it, and they didn't even do the body. They just did the head, and that was enough. So the budget was so low. I think the majority of it went to Joan Crawford and Michael Gough. But I think, as far as of what I've heard from it, is that Joan Crawford was literally blind drunk filming the whole film because she couldn't get through it.
Wow.
And she expected to go in thinking it was a serious film, but as it turns out, it was nothing of the sort. Where everyone else was kind of like, well, yeah, this is a B movie straight up, but we know it's going to be bad, but let's just have fun making it. And when Joe Crawford turned up, she was like, why isn't no one taking this seriously, kind of thing.
I have to say, I did notice a familiar glint in Joe Crawford there. Just, I've been there.
I'm drunk.
Yeah, I'm trying.
And suddenly, it was her last film as well, so she died shortly after this.
Oh shit!
Yeah, so
Oh.
Like, not to speak ill of the dead or anything, or like make jokes about it, but I hope she didn't drink herself into the grave after the finished product.
Oh,
yeah,
man.
but she was known to be a drinker anyway, so I think
Before or after this film?
I don't know.
Not much more after this.
He
But,
died 7 years after the film. It wasn't shortly after it.
No,
I mean,
it's
if
not
you
the-
start,
it's not that bad.
if you just started drinking, 7 years ain't that long.
It's all a blur, isn't it?
All right, John, get it.
So, yeah, what else
How long
can I
have
say?
we known, Alec?
Long
You
enough.
got at least more year of it.
At least more, yeah.
I said one more year. My laptop is
And
shit.
it's frozen.
At least more year.
At least more years and things.
It's frozen in time.
I've just got a black screen. I can't even see any of you. Continue.
Yeah. Well-
Yeah,
There
Um,
it goes.
I was going to say that I think the thing with Trog is that it's a B movie that sort of hits every sort of like cliche you can think of. It has every trope and everything you imagine from a film of that era. So it has like the misunderstood creature. It has the villainous character that just has no redeeming features with it. And there's a scene with the child, and there's all sorts of stuff. And so it seems to hit every single trope you can think of, but it does it with like profound earnestness, which you wouldn't think of a film like that, because you think it's just like no one really cared making it, but they had a fun time making it. And even with the scenes with like some of the really, really awful like extras and all the other actors, they're kind of like, you can tell they don't really know what they're doing, but you can see that they're having fun in some cases. But it's a curio. I think that's why I always like, and I saw it, must have been 12 years old when I first saw it, just because this is the film with your aunt's brother in it. It's just like so bad. It's just going to be, but it's always stuck in my mind just because it's trying to like what's the word? It's because of the monster movies of that era. It's trying to like take its fair share of the cake, if you know what I mean. But it doesn't. If it had a better budget, maybe it would probably stood this test of time a bit better. But it's like The Room. It has this cult following, bizarrely. So it's there are people out there that just love it for how bad it is, and the British countryside has never looked better.
Just imagining you as like a 12-year-old and your dad being like, "This is the film that your aunt keeps complaining about."
When I was that age, I probably just thought it was just a silly monster movie. I didn't know what was good and bad then. I just like, this is just it's the missing link. This is fun.
I mean, according to your scores, you still don't know what's good and bad.
Did you say it was like rushed out for some reason?
I think it was. It was trying to get in with the fad of all the 8 films of that era.
Yeah.
And another funny thing was, I don't know if this was true, but because his name is Joe Cornelius, and one of the characters in Planet of the Apes is called Cornelius. And he always used to think, oh, they named Cornelius from Planet of the Apes after me. But the trouble was, this Planet of the Apes came out like 5-7 years before, so it was certainly not the case.
Oh man, that's brilliant. I think the thing is like, I think there is a really good film in there. But it's like I was saying to you the other day. I think to me it feels like they just went and shot like the first draft of the script, and I feel like if somebody came in and like spent the time rewriting it and putting a little bit more effort into that, then I think it'd actually be a really good film, because you've got everything that you need to make a really good film out of it, apart from kind of like that, and maybe a little bit more budget as well. But I kind of find that a little bit endearing. So it's like I'm not too fussed about that. But yeah, I mean, like you've got like, it's like you're saying, there's sort of tropes that you expect to see in those kind of monster movies. Like you've got kind of women being more in touch with nature and men going against nature. And yeah, I mean, like it's all really good ideas. It's just the way that they execute it isn't very good. So like that whole thing with like the woman being more in touch with the creature because, well, the trope of women being more in touch with nature, like that's fine. But the problem is that they executed it with a scene in the pub with Michael Gough going, "They should have a man, not a bloody woman."
That's what we say.
I did kind of sigh at that bit. I was like, oh.
I mean, to be fair, when you consider like the time this movie came out, I actually think that having the woman being the one in charge was pretty progressive. Like that's one of the things that I think was good about this.
Usually at the time you're right, it was always like a male scientist trying to like call the shots and just like, we need to protect this creature, blah blah. And it's just like combining the King Kong trope of the woman who falls in love with the creature with the scientist. So it's like 2 characters in one in a way.
Yeah, and like while obviously it ended with them not listening to her, I did like that they didn't go down the route of her being superseded by a man. Like he tried to, but just got shut down. Like she was like, "You don't need to come back."
Yeah, that's the thing. I think that was a really interesting dynamic, and like I said, like I think you've got the bit there that you need from it. It's just that they don't pull it off very well. So if you had somebody come in to kind of like brush it up a little bit, I actually think it'd be really good. And I must admit, I had to give acting a decent score, because you know that scene where the dog and Trog have a bit of a back and forth. So like when it was happening, I was kind of going like, this is ridiculous. I'm not sure if this is cruel or not. But then afterwards, because of the way that Joan Crawford acts, I was sat there like, I'm actually feeling sympathy for this character. I thought that was quite impressive for the kind of film it was.
Unimpressed John is unimpressed.
I mean, I'm trying not to say too much just yet, because I'll go off on a rant about how shit it is and all the bad stuff.
Is everyone gone?
I mean, Emmanuel said he'd drop out, and Alex was having trouble.
Yeah, Emmanuel was on the tube, I think, wasn't he?
Yeah.
Put it on a Friday just because of Alec, and he fucks off.
Yeah, so one of the story bits that I thought was weird that they completely ignored for pretty much. Well, first of all, I felt like they spent far too long on the intro scene of them like exploring the cave. That was
Yeah,
like
the cave
that was
dungeons.
very fucking slow and long-winded.
I
But
like
then,
that.
but then after doing that, they make a point of being like, "Oh, this guy is the only like real survivor." You know, one of them died, and one of them's like clearly mentally affected by this. And then they never come back to the guy who was in shock ever again. They never mention him. He's completely forgotten. And then the guy who basically lost 2 friends to it never has a problem. Like, I get the whole scientific curiosity thing and like wanting to advance everything, but the fact that he never has a problem with the fact that they're keeping this thing in a cage, and like he has no thoughts of revenge. He never has like a side eye towards it, being like, "You killed my friend." Like, he doesn't give a shit.
Yeah,
I have a theory about why they didn't go back to the guy in shock. And basically what I think happened was that they went to him and they went, "It's all right. When you said he was dead, he was actually blinking." So
Yeah, he was.
he wasn't actually dead. He just got over it. It was fine.
Oh, that scene though. He's dead. He's dead.
It's so funny. He's like, "He's dead." I'm like, "Oh, he's blinking. He's alive."
Do you know what? That's not even the bit in that scene that made me laugh the most. The bit that made me laugh the most was Joan Crawford questioning him, because she's like, "How large was it compared to a man? Did it walk upright? Did it crawl? Did it make a sound? And if it did make a sound, was it the sound of a human?" I'm just like, "Fucking hell, leave him alone."
What's the sound of a human as well? You just go, "Oh."
But yeah,
Boy.
so there was that, and then the fact that they went back to the cave despite this thing having killed one of them. Again, I understand from a curiosity point of view, fine, but they go there, take a picture, and they come back absolutely fine.
I like
Nothing
that here as
happens.
well when they're going through the cave and she goes, "I'll take a picture," and she just points at like a random hole, and it's in the direct best spot ever to get this picture.
And like I get that you could argue it's like frightened by the Flash maybe, and that's why it doesn't attack them. But it's then proven later on that the Flash would aggravate it. So
It's just there.
I really like that bit, because kind of the aftermath of her taking the picture is she just wanders around, goes, "I took a picture with my own camera," and there's no mention of anything else that happened. And then when it's behind bars, she's like, "You idiots, I said don't take a picture with Flash." And it's like, "Well, you didn't. You told everyone you took a picture with your own camera, and that's where it ended."
I mean, to be fair, that bit I just assume was said off camera. Like, I feel like anything that like that, you would assume that you'd be told not to take any flash photography because it might startle it.
Yeah, but there's no setup for why you shouldn't, because she did it and it was fine.
Well, no, but that's what I mean. Like, that's why the first scene is dumb, because it doesn't do anything when it definitely should, regardless. Because at the end of the day, regardless of whether this is the missing link or not, it's effectively a wild animal. And common sense, you don't fucking flash a light in a wild animal's face.
But this is another one of the things that I'm saying. Like, I mean, if somebody had gone in and kind of like reread that bit and then gone, "We need to plant a seed for why you shouldn't flash a light at it," then that would have all been fine.
I think the thing that got me was when you first see him, and I was hilarious. I was in hysterics. He looks so stupid. Like when he comes out, I was like, "That's so dumb." Even the bloke makes a comment. He says it looks like it's a prank by some students. I'm like, yeah, it does look like a prank by some students. It's
This
so
whole film
bad.
looks like it was a prank from some
Oh,
student.
dear.
That was one of the first times I actually proper like laughed at it, because I was like, "Wow, it." Yeah, no, it does.
Literally, the only time I laughed in this movie was the flashback scene, because it was just
Oh.
the weird, like, we're going into his brain. I was like, all right, fine. And then the fact that they're using really, really shitty stop motion. The second T-Rex literally flies onto the screen. Like, it's going feet first. They didn't even try and make it look like it was.
Are you saying it's almost like
in.
a plastic T-Rex that they chucked off a little chicken
When
in
they
that
pull off the
clip?
cliff, they literally just chucked it off the cliff.
Yeah, and then the fact that where it ends is fucking hilarious, because you just see these 2 plastic fucking figurines fall off of a cliff. I almost broke myself laughing. It was fucking ridiculous.
I got so excited. I was like, "Am I gonna see them try and put Trog in the middle of this? He's just gonna be running up against these little plastic dinosaurs." And I was like, "Please do that.
They didn't do it.
Please." You can't even give him fucking hairy arms, do it.
Well, that's the thing. Like, even just from a narrative point of view, where was he?
Yeah.
That's the
Yeah.
point.
He's just like, and then the world exploded. And I was like, where were you? And he was like, I don't remember.
I was cryogenically frozen underground. See, look, this is the other thing. They could have easily used that as an excuse for the costume. They could have been like, oh yeah, it was so cold under there that he basically entered a form of cryostasis, and like it destroyed most of his hair follicles. So like all that's remaining is what's on his head.
I did love that scene where they asked Joan Crawford how he could have survived, and then she says about the freezing, and then they're like, that doesn't sound likely, and she's like, well, you think of something. I was like, was that scripted?
She says, my evidence will back it up, and I was like, you don't have any evidence.
I think she says that multiple times in the movie. She literally just, someone goes, that doesn't sound right, and she's like, you got a better idea? And they're like, no, fair enough.
I'd love to get a hold of the script, because I would like to know how much of it is just Joan Crawford going like, fuck it.
I mean, to be fair, I imagine that's how a lot of the script was written. It's like, oh, this doesn't sound very good. Have you got a better idea? Nah, fair enough.
Joan, we didn't actually write a line for this bit. Fuck it.
We're gonna get a German Shepherd to come out of nowhere to chase after the ball and then wrestle with the thing, and then we're gonna kill it. That sounds like a terrible idea, and it doesn't really make sense narratively or like plot wise. Like, you got a better idea? Nah, fuck it, kill it.
It's just the way it's filmed as well, man. Because it's like I don't know, because it's a bad idea anyway. Like, it's just, yeah, it's not a good idea to start with. And then they must have filmed it, and for some reason nobody went, no, you're quite obviously chucking a scarf on the floor at the end. We need to get rid of this.
Oh, I thought it was fucking adorable. Just that, just because like, just when they start doing the thing where like he's wandering around the cave, and then yeah, that happened. But then like you see something creeping up behind it, and I was like, is that the guy's fucking boxer shorts? Like, why is he wearing a bit? And I was like, oh no, that's what they're using as a monster. Oh no. Oh, just fucking adorable.
I don't agree with killing animals in films for no reason. Like, I'm not a big fan of it in general, because it just doesn't feel great. But if there's a good narrative or like character development reason, I'll accept it. But it was just incredibly random here. Like, they could have done anything, but instead they were like, let's use an animal, even though most of the people in this can't act, and working with animals in movies is pretty hard, but we'll work with it.
I think it was kind of okay on a conceptual level. Like, I don't think they needed to do exactly what they did, but like just on a just to like follow the idea of like her trying to train him to sort of be more human, and then him kind of like being able to catch the ball and then going off with his instincts and attacking a dog. Like, it kind of worked on a level, but
isn't it?
But
like,
yeah.
It's just like he's still a wild animal, and it's like you can train him as much as you want, but if you throw like kind of a wild thing in the way. But they say it in like a little throwaway line. It's like a dog. It's like a neighbor's dog, but and it's like, okay, well, that still doesn't kind of, because if I was next to that fucking hospital, I probably wouldn't just let my dog run around it, because I mean, like, they might have a fucking monkey man there, like, you might just fucking strangle my dog. So maybe not.
I mean, it's also like this was a big fucking deal when they brought it there. I'm pretty sure everyone knew about it. I don't think you'd let your dog outside.
Just like really liberal neighbours going, nothing will go wrong.
Just watching the news and going, yeah, let him out, it's fine. There's nothing.
They were watching out the window and they're like, oh, look, he's playing catch. Like, oh god, you go play as well. Oh no.
He's just gone over the hill and he's gone, that's the fucking building on the news. With the fucking monkey. No!
They're watching him run around, and then like they see him go over the hill. They're like, hang on, and then they just hear, oh.
No. And the only bit in that scene that I was like really against was one of, I think it was like 3 or 4 times where Joan Crawford goes, get me my hypo gun. It's just like,
fucking hypo gun. I was like, if it's that important,
0 times that said, is it done?
Yeah.
I was like, if it's that important, fucking keep it on you stupid bitch.
Well, that's the thing. I was like, firstly, keep it on you. Secondly, I've ended the film still not knowing what the fuck it does.
I mean, it's the hypo gun.
He shot it 3 times. and it didn't really do much.
It just makes
mean,
him
it did.
hypoallergenic.
It knocked him out.
After he got like a foot away from her.
Yeah. But you said she shot him 3 times, it didn't do much. No, it did exactly what she wanted it to.
I don't know.
Oh, I was just really annoyed.
That's not an arguable statement. It literally did what it was intended to do.
Right after he chucked a bouncy rock at a cameraman, which was the first time I properly belly laughed at it.
I
Because he's just standing there going like that, and he goes, just chucks a bouncy rock at him, and I was like, nice.
But it's such a wrestling setup because like Trog comes out with a rock and then the cameraman literally like runs towards him and then it's brilliant.
It's so bad.
Speaking of wrestling, like so when so you know the scene where Trog like suplexes the guy.
Yeah.
So that happened, and I was watching it, and I was like, "This guy is definitely a wrestler." And so I googled it, and I said in the other chat, I was like, "Oh, as soon as I saw that scene, I knew this guy was a wrestler." And I've just googled it, and it is. And then Ben was like, "Oh, I should probably tell you something."
Fucking marvel. Was he? So he wasn't the guy that you thought it was.
No, the guy who I thought it was one of the 3 at the start. Because when I first started watching it, I knew Ben had a relative in it, so I was kind of sat there thinking, "Oh, I'm going to try and spot the relative before Ben tells us who it is." Let me just Google the guy's name.
That's classic Ben misdirection though, because you'd have never thought it's the guy wearing the big monkey hat.
So the guy who
I see the resemblance.
The guy who I thought it was is a guy called David Griffin. I'll see if I can post a picture for you. I'll post a picture in the chat. So yeah, I was just looking at this guy going like, well, he kind of has Ben's facial features, so maybe it's like his dad's brother or something like that. But no, I never would have guessed it was Trog himself.
Trog himself. What a legend. With his wee fluffy boots.
Joe Trog.
But yeah, also that scalpel scene, that was fucking rough, wasn't it?
Oh yeah, it doesn't even cut this.
Yeah, it's like literally it just runs over it, and you're like, hang on, if you weren't gonna like actually do it, why'd you show it?
Yeah, to be honest, there was 4 things which I thought were bad production. That was one of them. But I was just like, you didn't have to show it so closely. Like it's just
you literally all you have to do is show it from a top angle so that all you see is his hand moving. You'd like and then cut away. Like that's all you have to do.
I'm not even sure I remember the scalpel scene.
It's
literally they just they've got that square cut out for where they're going to put the tracker.
Yes.
And then they run the scalpel across, but it clearly doesn't cut him at all.
Yeah, but the thing is, like, because of the camera angle and the way that they're holding the scalpel, it's like it's so close to the scalpel, and it's like the scalpel itself is so flat that you can even see that it's just like a blunt bit of metal.
Yeah, it's fucking stupid.
Gotcha.
Wait, considering that they tried to do the best they could with the budget they had, that's one of the things that they literally could have done much better.
Yeah, that's a bit like, because I actually thought it looked all right for quite a low budget film. Like the only things that were shit were that scene, the dinosaur stop motion, the scene with the dog, and Trog itself. Like if you took those 4 things out, and I know Trog's pretty central to the whole thing, but if you took those 4 things out, I actually think it was shot quite well.
Yeah, it was. It's like if Trog had a better suit and a better like design, I think it would have gone a long way making him more empathetic.
I mean, I established this with Rob already, but I clearly just don't get on with certain old style movies. Like, and when I was trying to think about what the pinpointing factors are, the things that I decided on was the style of acting and the camera work. So, like, no matter how good Trog himself was, like, I don't think I'd have enjoyed this because the acting I just didn't enjoy at all. And the camera work, I'm just like, what the fuck are you doing?
I think there's a central thing to this. Is sort of like it is sort of like this was shot with the same camera that was used to shoot the old style Wicker Man, and it like it's just that old amateur like BBC movie kind of thing. But they've gone bring out the monkey costume,
solid, and just like kind of like they're not really exploring, like going further out. They're not being creative.
Yeah. I think it's like really just acting wise when they go into like the greengrocer and then it's like, okay, you've now been confronted by an ancient caveman, and he goes, whoa! And I was like,
To be fair though, like from a practical effects point of view, I thought that the scene of him actually hooking him onto the hook was actually done quite well.
Yeah,
the hook's all right. The pushing over the car is
Yeah, that was it. That was
it just sits there for a bit and then goes.
That scene inspired Michael Bay. His career was born from that moment.
Yeah, you're welcome, Pat.
I just love the idea that like they did that scene and the director was just sat there really proud of himself while the whole of the crew was just looking at him like, and he's just like, they're not gonna know.
Yeah, like I get that the problem of me not getting on with old films is like a me thing and not the film's problem. But I just like, because normally I try and look at things in their own time kind of thing, and I'm like, well, for the time, like the production or the story or the acting, whatever was good. But I just couldn't get past it with this. I was just like, no, I'm not enjoying this at all.
I just like the image of the guy making the car explode, and he's just sitting there, and he's like, "In 30 years, I've shit on this."
Yeah, no. To be fair, John, there is quite a noticeable difference between films in the 70s and then films in the 80s. Like,
for sure.
For some reason, like those two decades, like you can really see the difference. There's like there's a real like barrier between the two for some reason. So I think like in the 70s, still the films were still, well, they were acted a bit sort of theaterish still, and then I think the 80s kind of changed it for some reason.
For the better.
I think this is something to sort of note about Trog. It's sort of like it's because I didn't actually even like watch it twice as is my usual, because like I didn't feel like there was enough like content in it. Like there's
no content in it.
There was quite a lot of they get into the lab and then it's just like testing scene, court scene, testing scene, court scene, testing, and I was just like, get to the. It's just like
it's
like
too much build up.
Yeah, as a bad movie, there just wasn't like enough to go like. There wasn't enough like room to do like ridiculous things, so it really took off at the end. But during the middle, I was like, "Fucking hell, come on."
That's like part of what I was saying about the beginning of it. Like I feel like they spent far too long getting into the cave and getting to Trog. Like I don't necessarily mind them spending that long in the cave itself. I just feel like there should have been more, like, you know, there could have been fucking cave paintings or signs of like a block of ice that had like a human-esque shape in it or something. Just anything to like build the tension rather than them literally just walking around with really shitty torches, let's point out, because every time I looked at one of those torches, I was like, you would see a fucking thing with that.
I was looking at it and I was like, that's not even on. And then he like turned like, oh, it is on.
Exactly, like the bit when he gets in the water and then he's like moving it around. I was like, that torch isn't on at all, is it? And then he turned around and it was. And I was like, I'm pretty sure that wasn't on a second ago. And I get that we're watching it from the viewer's perspective where we can see everything and this isn't what they would see. But you still need to make it fucking work.
I didn't mind that scene, to be honest. Like, I mean, yeah, what you said, I'm not going to defend, but like, as a scene, I thought it was quite enjoyable.
I mean, yeah, but that's the difference, isn't it? Like, you can, like, I'll shit on this, and I feel like for the most part, most of you won't disagree with me. You'll just have enjoyed it.
I kind of like as well. Oh, sorry, Pat.
Was Ben trying to be Trog in a
cave? I did wonder what he was doing. I thought it's got a bit romantic.
He spent a bit long on it.
I did think it was nice with the cave divers though, because you had like they had like very clear like characters, and like one was sort of like kind of like the rash one who was just going to go out and just do it, whatever, and then like there's one he's like, I ain't going in there. I don't care what you guys. I don't care if you both are going in there, but I ain't doing it. And then the guy in the middle was like, well, I'm going in, and if you're not part of this, then you don't get the fucking rewards from it, from whatever we discover. So fuck you. And it was like all very distinct little characters. They're not in it for very much, but there's little character work going on. Like, I think that's nice.
But he's dead.
I think that's a bit general, but you know.
Yeah, but it's a fucking 10-minute.
I will
I'm not
say,
saying it's
like,
brilliant.
I will say
it's there.
that the characters are quite well defined throughout it, because like even the first bit, even the first scene where you see Alfred and he's and he's like, "This is there any way of stopping this Roman holiday? This is a cruel joke on this township." It's just like that's exactly who he is. Like there's no kind of ambiguity about what he's going to do in this film.
I was looking at him throughout, going like, he's really fucking annoying. Who's he reminding me of when it was me? It's like he's making the same point over and over again. I think people get it, mate. Shut up.
And then you were like, "Oh right, yeah, that when
Yeah,
I'm
so I
drunk,
should work
when
on
I'm
it.
drunk." But
It's just,
I mean,
it's-
I guess that's the reason why I don't rate the character distinctions, because
It's me.
they're incredibly one note. Like nobody has any development at all. They're all their specific roles, and that's it. End of story.
yeah, the only character that develops is Trog.
Yeah, exactly.
And then he
Yeah.
goes back to his primitive ways and kills
Yeah,
everyone.
I guess the only other character you could argue has slight development is the male scientist who betrays her, because like he was following in her footsteps and then he was like brought to the dark side. But that's literally the only thing that you can kind of argue.
Oh, that'd be brilliant as a setup. Just somehow Trog returned.
Yeah. Trog actually left his sperm in the ice he came out of, and it matured into another Trog.
Oh man, I'd love that.
Trog 2.
Somebody make it. Let's get a
I'd love
CGI
leaving my
Joan
sperm in
Crawford.
ice.
Trog 2, the sperm reincarnated.
I do think like some of the lines in it were so, I don't know. Like that's just
Bad.
Yeah, but bad in such an endearing way. Like the scene in the pub where like Alfred's like, "Oh, I'd rather see a man at the head of the clinic than that female quack." I was just like, "Whoa."
I mean, yeah, again, that because of the time, that feels like a totally normal line and response to me.
Oh man, it's just, I don't know, it's just delivered so well. And then there's another bit in there. There's another bit in there as well that was like really weirdly written. Shit, was it? It's something like, "Oh, we've had nothing but trouble, humiliation and trouble." Oh man.
Nice. I think the only lines that I was having fun with was like the judge, and then like I was just going like, "Can you just fucking eject Alfred, please?" He's like, he gives it like 5 or 6 more goes, and he's just like, "Can you just get him fucking out of here?" And I was like,
I really hated that, because like I was fine with him giving him a couple of warnings, but then he's like, "One more time and you're out." And then not only does he not kick him out when he starts off again, he lets him carry on and go off on a big soliloquy about it. And I'm like, "Fucking kick him out! You're in charge."
The best bit is when they go back to the court and the exact same thing is still happening, and the judge is still going, "Shut up!"
Yeah. And then eventually they do actually kick him out.
"You're not gonna be a fucking disruption like last time, are you?" And he's like, "Nah, definitely not."
I wouldn't do that. Fucking women.
I would have loved it if he was just like, "Yes, I fucking am."
And he's like, "Oh well, I'll warn you."
You bet your sweet fucking ass I will be.
He's like, "Well, all right."
Don't do it again, or I have to warn you.
I'm warning you. If you carry on, you're going to get a warning.
Also, I do just want to point out that a soliloquy was not the correct term for that, because soliloquy is given to the audience, not people in the scene. Just so you know.
I mean, he was looking at the camera and talking at us.
But it was for the benefit of people in the scene.
All right. Well, Alec, I just so you know, I don't care.
I know you don't care. Nobody does. That's why you get films like Fault in Our Stars, which say things like soliloquy without knowing what they are. Sorry.
Oh, dear. It's a cruel joke on this film club.
It is.
Yeah.
Fault in Our Stars. Bouncy rocks.
Oh, the whole bit with the bloody dinosaurs. I was just like, what is this? Like, this doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, I feel like I missed out a bit on that scene, because I felt like it was something that I would have found really funny, but I was kind of just sat there like, why are they doing this? I don't.
I can understand they're trying to show you that nature's quite savage in the way that it one dinosaur is going to kill another dinosaur and then they kill each other, and I'm like, okay, that's got a point, but I don't really understand why this is a thing in this film at this point when they're looking at his memories. It's just like,
did you know that it wasn't actually shot for this film? It was like deleted scenes from another Ray Harryhausen film he did.
Oh, get out, really?
Oh man.
Well, I was gonna say, like, you say they were looking at his memories, Dan, but just to make sure they weren't. Like that was just for our benefit.
It
That
was just
the
a
audience.
dinosaur film. Yeah. It was just nothing to do with Trog.
I can't believe that. So they literally filmed that scene, and then he was just like, "I've got the perfect thing for this."
I've got to fucking lie on this score because that's not even fucking relevant.
Yeah, I'm
like
gonna
I
have to as
said,
well.
like I said, where the fuck was Trog? How was he watching that?
It's not even the right era. I think that's.
it wasn't as well because it would have been later on.
I mean, yeah.
Well, if you put too much science in it, he literally is like thousands of years out.
Oh yeah. God forbid they put too much science in this.
You come up with a better theory.
it's like the idea of the Flintstones being in the fucking Age of the Dinosaurs when they were.
That's ridiculous. I can't believe they recycling a suit from 2001, but also recycling something not even filmed for it.
Well, no, that's the thing. It's not even recycling it because they never used it in the first place. So
Brilliant.
It's just picking something out of the trash.
Have you got any vaguely prehistoric fucking footage we can use?
And it fucking goes on for ages as well.
It's way too fucking long.
It's like this doesn't have any relevance, and you're just getting to the point where you're like, why?
Yeah, which again just shows that it clearly wasn't made for this.
No.
It makes so much sense now you said it.
It's like, and he's talking as well. I'm just like,
well, that's the other thing that annoyed me. They're like, we're going to give him this operation to allow him to speak. First of all, that's fucking stupid. That's not a thing you can do. It works. Yeah. But secondly, he doesn't fucking speak.
Can I just say though, I was really glad they didn't have him speak because I was like, please don't do that. That's gonna be.
I kind of wanted it. Say again.
He says water, doesn't he? Because he gets the water and goes water. Or something like that.
I kind of wanted him to just be like, to go from going to I can sing, like just out of nowhere. Just turns into a musical.
I did worry that they might do that in the scene where they was playing music to him.
Oh man.
Exactly. I'm thinking it was going to be like Young Frankenstein.
Oh, that would have been fucking great if he started.
Put it on the roots.
like Trog, can you say apple? And then he's like, apple.
Oh, that's just reminded me of another scene that I thought was fucking hilarious. Is when they're feeding him, and then Joan Crawford's daughter's like, "Not too fast, you'll get a tummy ache." It's like it's a fucking troglodyte.
Fucking dirt.
He's literally been eating fucking cave.
Been eating raw animals. For fuck's sake. Like he's been eating all matter of shit.
And like that's the other thing. Like they say that he's been surviving off like, you know, bugs and fish and whatever, but I highly doubt there were any fish in there. And like what kind of like it I know that realistically speaking there would have been a lot of insects and stuff there, but they made no effort to ever show that.
Yeah, they don't go to any lengths to see like what he has been eating. Like
no, that cave was fucking pristine.
I also wondered as well, like, I mean, I don't know if this is right or not, but I was confused about where they would have found lizards in Berkshire.
Yeah.
Are there lizards in Berkshire?
I mean, Rob, really, they found a fucking troglodyte in there, so...
Hey, I suppose anything's possible at that
point. But yeah, like, even if they'd just shown fucking moss around the place, because, like, animals have eaten moss to survive, like, and do, still. So, like, in this fucking dank cave, why is it just fucking crystal clear, pristine water? Like all the walls are like all clear cut and clean. It's like, you could have just like done anything, and it would have been better than this.
Can you imagine Can you imagine the national response to this though? Just like, we've discovered a troglodyte in a cave in Berkshire, and it's like, don't put him on benefits. So that was another fucking guy. Just
yeah. As soon as he starts speaking, his first words are, "How much allowance?"
and then his second words are 50 quid. Fuck's sake.
I can't survive on that.
Where can I get some spliff?
Every 2 weeks.
It's like, you got any Charlie? Oh no! I just imagined if they accidentally like left a bottle of alcohol near his cage, and then he like had someone was like, "Oh," and then like just became a raging alcoholic.
I was so glad they didn't go for like a romantic angle for this, because it would just been.
They definitely thought about it, 100%.
I gotta say, I was really surprised because I really thought the Trog's voice was going to be like a lot growlier, but it was like really nasal. It was like,
I mean, if you had that thing on your face, you'd probably be quite nasally and all.
There was a scene as well. I can't remember which one it was now, but there's like, yeah, I don't know. I can't remember what one it was, but there's like a dubbing of Trog grunting like, meh. And then somebody goes, unbelievable, and then somebody else goes, yes.
Very nice.
Yeah, you can actually hear them now. Normally, I'm just sitting here farting and burping to myself like that now. I can hear it.
You sound about the extras being really shit. It just reminded me of the nurse that gives him the what's it, the sedative. She's like so fucking monotone. They're like, I'll give him the medicine. Goodbye.
I know. Do you know what I noticed about her? Is that she clearly was really excited to be on camera, because she was like, don't forget this space. Bye.
To be fair though, like I bet a lot of them couldn't believe their luck to be in a film with Joan Crawford, and then it ended up being this.
And then every time they had a scene with her, they were like, "Fucking hell, she stinks of booze."
Just looking at her a bit like, shit, she's wasted.
In fact, I bet if we watch it back slow mo, like you'll see any scene where she's talking closely to someone, you'll see them going like,
they're like,
yeah, just recoiling a little bit, like.
Too much vodka.
I just like the idea of them all being backstage, being like, Joan Crawford isn't what I expected, and then her stumbling in like, fuck it.
No, Rob. I think what you mean is they'd go, Joan Crawford isn't what I expected, and then she'd come in being like, you got a fucking better idea.
You come up with a better theory. What are you talking about, Joan?
You paid me to be in this fucking film, so just do it.
Yeah,
sorry.
Go on.
I was gonna say that was the point where I was on the edge of my seat, where they were like, well, how could he have survived there, possibly? And then I was like, yeah, that's a really good question. And then she just comes out with this whole thing about how he was frozen, and I was like, why do you think? Like, what on earth?
To be fair, I actually find that quite a reasonable hypothesis.
Really?
Okay. Yeah, like considering where the cave is and the fact that it was clearly like closed off. And they actually kind of set up a bit with how cold the water is, and like if you consider that obviously the defrosting would have taken a long time because once the cave started like expanding out or whatever and getting warmer. So by the time the crack actually got to the surface and you could get in there, I think it's entirely reasonable that he would have already probably for a couple of years been like reanimated.
I hate it when your crack gets to the surface and things get reanimated.
Rob's an old friend of that one, isn't he? But yeah, I forgot what I was going to say now.
Sorry.
No, it's not your fault.
It might be my fault.
I mean, it is your fault, but it's also my shitty brain.
Well, Pat looks furious, if that helps.
Pat always looks furious when I shit on movies.
Maybe he's hungry.
That's the point, actually, Pat. You gave Trog your nomination point. I think you should say some words in favour of it.
Yeah, come on, Pat.
I liked it.
Come on, Pat.
Sorry,
give us some positivity towards Trog.
Alec was talking for too long and Pat zoned out.
We need some words from the man, the myth, the choir boy himself, Patrick Kenny.
You're fucking choir boy.
No,
You're a fucking choir boy compared to Trog.
Oh, stop it. Stop making me laugh.
I can't paint straight.
I'm trying to faint.
You're trying to, it sounded like you said you're trying to faint.
Yeah, I thought that's what he said as well.
I'm trying to faint.
Also, sorry, Pat, just before you say, I'll give you a sec to gather your thoughts. I don't know if Rob was also smiling at this earlier, because I noticed him smiling and I wondered if it was the same thing I was looking at. It was Dan just wanking off, I assume, his paint. He was just doing that for ages, and then he swapped hands and started doing it.
I also assumed and hoped it was his paint.
The important part to any wank is that you get your elbow in.
Yeah, and you got to swap hands occasionally, otherwise, you end up all mismatched. I meant Matt, but all right.
You've run out of time, Pat. Now is the time.
well, like the film itself wasn't as bad as I thought it would have. It wasn't as bad as I thought it was going to be. So you've really put me on the spot now. I have to think.
I gave you time to gather your thoughts.
It gave you so much
but
time.
I zoned out for 5 minutes and I had no idea what you guys said.
Yeah, but then you zoned back in, and we told you that we wanted to hear from you about the film in general, and then we gave you time to think about it.
Should we come back at the end?
I thought the acting was good, so I don't agree with.
I think you need to think about this a bit more.
I genuinely thought the acting was okay, not good, decent.
I thought the acting was alright outside of Trog. Sorry, Ben.
Yes,
We also think you're bad at acting, so it's clearly very good.
we know that listeners aren't very good actors. So.
I was gonna say, he did do a cool move when he did the roll over the fence. He kinda jumped over.
Yes.
I
That
forgot
was
about
quite
that. That's I completely forgot about that. That was hilarious. Seeing a
I
troglodyte
don't
doing a
remember
front row. It's
That
near
was
the end
fucking
when he escapes. He kind of jumps
yeah,
over
I
a fence.
I think I was so checked out that I didn't register it all.
The best
Oh,
thing
that
about
was
it,
fucking marvelous.
he doesn't even jump. He just kind of leans forward and rolls, goes over the fence and rolls. I was like, that's actually pretty cool.
Yeah,
That is the art of a forward roll. It's like it doesn't look like a jump.
It was
I-
really well
I
done.
mean, he's a professional wrestler. He knows how to take a bump.
Yeah, I was gonna say. I imagine he probably entered the ring like that or something.
They looked at that was his little audition tape. They looked at him and went, "You can jump over a gate."
They watched someone doing a roll up on him, and they were like, "Oh, that man can roll."
How do you feel about having your legs out?
If anyone's going to convince the world that a troglodyte can break into a garden, it's this guy.
I found it all really comical, and I was just like, he goes in and he chucks a greengrocer through his own window and kills him, and then he kills a butcher on his meat hook, and then he pushes over a small car and it explodes in fiery annihilation. And then he's going toward a playground, and I was like, "No, not the playground!"
The bit with the car I thought was fucking hilarious. Not because of him tipping it over, because the guy's window was open, and I was expecting Trog to pull him out of the car or something, and then he just goes, "No, I'm going to tip it."
Oh man!
Yeah.
Now he's
And
on a unicycle.
then- No, but it's the bit when the girl goes down the slide and he's literally waiting for it. If the kid was there, I would have jumped off the slide before I.
Right, but let's point out that is actually all the professor's fault for giving him that
True.
doll, because it was blonde and she made him love it, and then he was like, "Oh, there's another blonde. I'll have
You
it."
know what? I didn't even put that together.
This is what I mean. There is a good film in there. They just needed to tidy it up a bit.
See, I don't even disagree with you, because I think you could even make. Yeah, I think you could even make a film about this, but you do have to not use recycled footage from films that aren't even part of your film.
Yeah.
The costume that isn't even part of your film.
I honestly think all they needed was a bit more time and a bit more budget and a director who didn't want to recycle footage and costumes, and it would have actually been alright. Yeah, I think it's got everything that you need to make a decent film out of it. It's just that, well, it's like I said, it feels like a first draft.
I don't necessarily disagree that tidying it up would make it better, but I also feel like you could look at a house that had been hit by a tornado and still use the word that it needs tidying up, and like that's how I feel like the level of tidy up would be needed for this. I feel like you're looking at it like dog shit on the floor and you just need to clean it up.
Well, continuing that analogy, then I suppose
You're about to get fucking wrecked, mate. Get ready.
No, I think I see this as like, say, like a house where you move in and like maybe there's like a really shit room that's letting in a draft and you don't know where the draft's coming from, so you need to like replaster a wall or something, and then once you've done that, it's like, oh, everything's kind of all right now. Whereas I think if you look at something like Shark Boy versus Lava Girl, then the tidy up that you would have needed there would be like, I don't know, a new well, yeah, you might as well move out kind of thing.
Yeah, I mean, my level of tidy up here is I feel like you're in Japan, so there's those like really small, basically almost unlivable rooms. And then there was an earthquake, a tornado, and a flood, and you're just doing some cleanup after that, basically.
I do think, like, I mean, there's good ideas in it, and I think a lot of what brings it down is just it's just Trog looking.
No one giving a shit, basically.
Well, I think
I think that
I think the whole film relies on you having a bit of sympathy for Trog. And I think that is why I rate Joan Crawford so highly in this, is even though Trog looks ridiculous, I think she makes me have sympathy for him. So I think if Trog looked more believable, it'd be easier to have sympathy for him, and then everything else would come together a bit easier.
Yeah, he looked terrifying, right?
Like, despite the fact that she's obviously wasted, she is doing her best to make. Because even I was like, oh yeah, I mean, I at least sort of believe Trog is kind of an entity unless I look at him. Like, if I don't look at him, he is definitely a being. But
I mean, to be fair, oh, sorry, Dan, go on.
Oh no, I was going to say they could have done with not actually having him in it until she takes the picture. Like the old.
You leave Ben's uncle alone.
I know. Like in these type of films where you have like a monster film and you don't actually see him until like halfway through the film. Like the fact of when they see him in the cave, you don't actually see it. Then someone dies and they have the thing, because it gives it a bit more like what's it called, like atmosphere or tension, because you're like, oh, what's he look like, and then you see and then you see.
But regardless of how long they take to do it, you'd still see him, and then still be like, oh.
By the time he's in the Avengers, you're going, nah, I don't think he really gets in there. That really just doesn't match up.
To be fair to the film, as much as I shit on it, like I do feel like they're good at making you feel sympathy for Trog. I don't think it's because of anyone else, though. I think it's just because of the general story. Like, because like one of the things I think is interesting is the idea of the missing link. I think that in general is a good thing to like make a movie based around, because that is an interesting part of like theoretical history and stuff. I feel like maybe that might have been disproved over the years. I can't actually remember anymore. But anyway, it's just that like, yeah, you feel for him, because he's basically a wild animal. And if you've ever seen or dealt with any wild animals, or even just like scared or mistreated pets, that they're scared. Like they don't attack because they're vicious. They attack because it's the only thing they think they can do to keep themselves safe. So like in terms of just concept, I think that alone is fine. But I don't think that anyone else's acting made me feel that way. I think it's just the fact that he's clearly a wild animal.
I think for me, it was just Joan Crawford having like so much belief in him, I suppose, which is why I think that the scene with the dog is actually all right in concept, because you kind of see her faith, and then that faith is kind of, well, it turns into her asking for a hypo gun. It's,
I agree with John. I was just gonna say.
Yeah, no, I think without without Joan Crawford sort of having that faith in him and trying to humanize him, I don't think I would have got that sympathy for him.
But then
Yeah, I
I'm an
think-
animal lover, so
I think Joan Crawford is sort of like your kind of window into that.
no,
And-
Alec, your window is the moment where they show you his memories. Anyway, carry on.
Oh, yeah, no. The thing that really makes me sympathise with the character is plastic dinosaurs falling off a cliff. But I don't think in concept trying to kind of use like immersion therapy on like something that's sort of just developed enough to that it might be able to learn it. Like, sorry, I fucking butchered that. The concept of having like a caveman that might just be able to understand it on some level and just being able to kind of like get it into like kind of a level of society where it's all right, and like that going wrong, I don't think that's a bad idea for a film. But I think like it's really ambitious considering like kind of the level of technology you had at your disposal and the level of effort you were willing to put into it. Because the level of effort you were willing to put into it was, I'm going to go to a charity shop to get the costume, and I'm going to use footage from something that's not even fucking related. It's got dinosaurs. I don't give a fuck, whatever. And and I think like with like kind of the dinosaur scene, I was going like, thank fuck for Jurassic Park, because like Jurassic Park made dinosaurs like it was actually something that really like revolutionized how much people actually study dinosaurs and everything. And so
Holy shit, man, you've just made me realize something incredible.
you're welcome.
There's as much time between now and Jurassic Park as there was between Jurassic Park and Trog.
Blimey.
That's crazy, man.
John's like so overwhelmed. He has.
Yeah, John's like, fuck this, I'm out.
No, I'm just gonna go for a cigarette in a sec because I realised I can just do that now while
my
I've got
God.
you on the phone.
This is neat.
He's talking and he's not even in the seat.
The future's
Oh,
now,
it's
old
crazy.
man.
Whoa. Look at the production on this.
I'm trucking out.
But yeah, I think that there's was definitely kind of scope to do this. I think that it was just kind of the technology behind it. Pat, I hope you're thinking of something to say. But there just wasn't the technology behind it to actually like do it properly. Like, I think if you wanted to make it now, you probably could do it now.
Well, that's the
Be
thing.
honest. Oh, sorry, Ben.
I was going to say it came out like maybe 5 years after Planet of the Apes, so obviously they could do apes.
That's so
quite well.
embarrassing. Sorry.
So it's just a shame that they didn't have like at least a bit of care that film had.
Well, the thing is, I mean, like, I think the only reason that Trog
Yeah.
himself looks bad is because they painted the mask. Because in 2001: A Space Odyssey, the mask is black and it looks fine, but for some reason they painted it like a sort of like tan brown color, and then I don't know, it just sort of once you see what the mask's actually made of, it looks a bit shit.
Yeah. Bless.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think if you, because you could do a fucking, this would be a good color. Oh, whoops.
What the fuck is that?
Manuel's trying to speak.
Someone invited T-Pain.
Come on, Emmanuel. Speak to us.
I was going to say that. Please, yeah, let me Ginger, thanks. I was going to say that it with a low budget, they could have done it, but they would have had to do it from a different angle. So they would have had to. Huh? Oh, yeah, someone else, Pat. Sorry, that's all right.
Just
I
ignore
was
Pat.
just like, huh? Right?
He's probably hungry.
They could have focused more on the kind of, let's say, the struggle. They could have made it more of a, she keeps doing this therapy and keeps doing this and this, but nothing's working. She's struggling, she's going crazy, and they're really pressuring to, oh, sorry. Okay. Yeah. And they're really struggling to, I was talking to that, and they're really struggling to, sorry, I say they're struggling. The people outside her are putting pressure to take away her institution. Everything's riding on this. Like if she doesn't get something before it's too late, like she could lose everything. And it could just be much more of a, I guess, a drama in that way of like how far can a scientist go before they kind of lose their mind doing something that seems like such a breakthrough or something like that. If they focus more on that element of it, they could have done it with a low budget.
I mean,
Yeah.
they kind of did in a way, like not as much as obviously I think you wanted, but they definitely like, for example, she like went in there at the end when she could have died, like to save that girl, but really she wasn't there to save the girl. She was there to prove a point.
Yeah, that was true. That was bad. It's like it's good to save the girl, but
I don't-
Fuck
Sorry,
him
Dan.
getting shot was hilarious as well because nothing hits him. It just hits the
Yeah, they were
rocks,
fucking
and then
stormtroopers.
it hits the rocks and then he just goes, oh, and he falls off and gets impaled by a spike that doesn't actually get him because he falls down and then the spikes. Yeah.
Although to be fair, there's two parts to that scene that make me laugh. One is the fact that he's still like, he might be like a prehistoric human or whatever, but he's still a fucking human, and they show him like getting hit but being fine, and I'm like, hang on, he doesn't have like super skin. What's going on there? But then the fact that they got him to land on the spike I liked, because earlier in the movie when they were in the cave in the first place, I was like, someone's going to get stabbed on those. So I like that.
The thing you need to realize is that early man was actually evolved to deal with bullet fire. Like they had strong skin. Just
remember he gets hit by the cleaver, right? And it doesn't even cut his arm. It just like scratches it.
I forgot about the cleaver.
He hits him and he just goes, and walks away. But like,
that was really making me laugh because up until that point he's basically this completely wild animal who has like the ability to catch things, and then somebody hits him with a cleaver and he spends the rest of the film going, fuck's sake.
Like what they should have done is when he threw the is it stalagmite or stalactite, when he threw it, he should have impaled someone with it. It would have been hilarious. Just like,
very cool.
It's the stalagmite because it might poke you in the butt, and stalactites are tight on the ceiling. That's how I remember.
Yeah.
That's
It would have been hilarious.
I remember that.
Even though you could argue that they're tight on the floor too, but I prefer to think of it as like gravity kind of thing. So that's how I remember anyway.
The thing with John is that he can't remember anything without anal penetration.
It's true.
Pat still looks furious. Are you thinking?
Oh, I'm tired.
That told you.
Hang on. We're really glossing over how mean what Alec just said was. Oh, you look furious. Are you thinking?
I don't pay attention to what Alex says.
Whoa!
Sick burn. Oh, you know what was a sick burn? The fucking lava cooking the dinosaurs. You see it kind of wriggling in the lava. It's like, you're just like, what?
Reminds me of another film. Dinosaur.
Yeah. That one with all the dinosaurs.
Yeah. No lava though.
And Jaws with the sharks.
Yeah. Might be of a lot of films actually.
And what was that other one? Pompeii had like a volcano in it.
Yeah.
I must admit though, like that scene where well, it's the scene where you first meet Alfred and he's like, can somebody stop this Roman holiday? That scene, I was going, did this inspire Jaws?
Yeah. Oh, Roman holiday. Oh, I thought it was a reference to what's the film with Audrey Hepburn?
Roman holiday.
Yeah, I thought it was a reference to that.
Yeah,
Breakfast at Tiffany's.
I don't know if it is a reference or not, but like no, it was just a setup of the scene where you had like the media and sort of like everything going on around this cave. It's similar to the beach scene in Jaws, but the only difference is the mayor of this town was against Trog.
He said Trump. I was like, no, he's out of office now. It's okay. Yeah, production has taken a hit now that I know they're using recycled footage.
It is such a shame because I think you can tell that the director knew what he was doing in terms of shooting the film. It was just that there's just a few bits that are a bit much.
Oh,
Yeah. Fuck you, Freddie Francis.
I think I
probably
said
did.
last week actually the director went on to be a cinematographer for quite a few big films. Like he was a cinematographer for Dune, The Elephant Man. I can't remember what else, but yeah.
Well, Rob, I've got a perfect example. You know what I think of the cinematography in this?
What's that?
Oh, he is dead. He is dead.
It just sounded like you chucked your keys down the stairs.
Oh, it was a toilet flushing.
I hated it so much, I've lost my keys.
I hated it so much I can't get into my house now. Send help. Yeah.
I mean, in fairness, we do know how Alec feels about people losing their keys. Rob.
Oh yeah.
I'm fine with people losing their keys. It's when they fucking find them again that freaks me right out.
Well, more specifically, when they find them again without actually looking for them.
Yeah.
Oh, John's back.
Hi.
Ah! But yeah, no,
Oh, dear.
bouncy rocks. Fucking hell, when they get the firing squad in and one of them kneels down and hits a bouncy rock and it bounces.
That really
Yeah.
made me
I
laugh.
loved it.
And then you compare that to something like The Princess Bride.
What
Yeah.
really made me laugh was the practicality of that scene, because I wondered if anybody was like, right, we need to make this rock soft enough so that he can chuck it at someone right in the face and it doesn't hurt them. And I imagine like nobody was like, yeah, but we need to make it look good as well, right? It's like,
No.
just
As long as it doesn't hurt him.
make it inflatable. I don't give a shit.
Beach balls that are grey.
Yeah, just... Bless their little cottons. That's what
The undubbed version is just like the thud of the foam. Like,
there's just someone off screen going.
Yeah, so I thought the story was shit. I thought the acting was shit. I thought the production was shit. Impact and purpose-wise, no idea.
Yeah.
So I didn't give a shit, and I only enjoyed it a little bit because of how ridiculous the fucking stop motion scene was. And in fact, I might actually lower my enjoyment score now that I know that that wasn't even intended to be in it.
Oh, Ben, you've caused the catastrophe.
Catastrophe. I might beat you. I don't think I will. But
I have a real soft spot for this film, man. Like I think, yeah,
Soft as those rocks.
softer, a lot. No, because I think I think the story was okay. Like I think it was a good basis for a story. I think they did the things that they needed to do to make a decent film. They just needed to execute it all a bit better. I think the acting was all right, other than Trog, and even Trog I enjoyed because I think, well, it was very obvious he was a wrestler, and I quite liked the campiness of it.
What about the greengrocer?
Oh, the greengrocer. The greengrocer was he was an experience, wasn't he? I enjoyed him.
I was wondering why so many people look like the guy from Clockwork Orange.
I do want you guys to know that me lowering my enjoyment score to 2 actually doesn't change my overall score.
Really?
Yeah. Well,
it's that's weird.
Well, no, because it's 1.16 now, which is still 1.2.
Oh, right.
Oh, I don't get that.
I don't get that maths.
Well, hang on, I'll do the maths again, assuming that it was the other one. So
while you're doing that, I'm kind of on Rob's side in thinking that it had the potential to be a good story. I think it was just limited by sort of not only technology but also just sort of understanding of what you're even dealing with in terms of fucking just dinosaur, like prehistoric time periods, and also just recycling footage is bad.
Yeah, I think it was more than being a bad film. I just think it was really fucking messy.
Yeah, I think there's potential for a good film in there. I don't think it's a complete waste of time.
Speaking of messy, apparently this actually worked out really well because I did the maths on my original thing again, and it should have been 1.3. So it actually did go down.
Oh, that's great. Okay.
Nice.
Crisis averted.
Humphrey, closing statement.
Yeah. Yes.
Okay, that's nice.
Did you say he had socks?
Yeah.
Wasn't this the
very
film that
good.
Rob? Wasn't this the film that you said that Dan used to go on about all the time?
No, that was End of Days.
Oh no, that was sorry, yeah. So when Dan was like, I agree with John, I was like, hey, hang on, I thought you was going to love this.
I like the idea that Humphrey was just talking to you about it for all this time, and then it's just like, were you talking about End of Days or Trog? They sound like completely different films.
It would be very Dan to be like, I don't know which movie it was.
Yeah. Oh, it was the Titanic.
Yeah. I definitely remember that piece of shit.
Wait,
Oh, that's going to be a fun chat.
No,
Someone needs to
please,
pick Titanic.
please.
I mean, I will. I've already told you that I'm going to. Because I
That's
love
going
that
to be
movie.
that's going to be a real split. I think I'm going to be in the middle of it.
I don't think it's great, but it's pretty good. Pat, why did you nominate Trog?
I had a lot of fun with it. Like
It sound like it.
well, to be fair, I've been.
He's very tired.
Yeah, I've been up since like 5:30 this morning, so I'm not myself.
Oh.
Not yourself.
And Gary Barlow.
Pat, you should have a Snickers.
I don't have any.
Oh,
I can see why you're upset, man.
Yeah, I can see why you're not yourself if you don't have a Snickers.
I too get
It's-
quite
it's
grumpy
like
when I
when-
don't have any peanutty chocolate.
It's like when someone flashes
Don't forget the
camera
nougat.
at Trog.
Nougat.
They were my favourite parts when he got angry.
So yeah, done.
You like, yeah, it has a head above everything else because he got angry and went.
It's just because that's what Pat does when he gets out of bed in the morning, just completely naked, goes.
Don't ever sleep naked.
I mean, I didn't say you slept naked. You just get naked so you can do that.
Excuse me.
I couldn't sleep naked. There's too much like ball movement.
Balls in his
Great.
I always kick the covers off and people don't knock in my house, so
God, imagine walking in on that.
It's like, whoa.
That's why it took so long to drag Pat out of his tent before, because Rob and Alec were like, "Oh, fuck, let's cover it up first."
now
We need to
everyone-
make sure that this is okay.
now everyone on YouTube knows.
Oh dear.
Before we sign off tonight, I do actually want us all to be like.
Just a Mexican wave of.
So that's why it wins out with all the other picks. He got a bit angry.
He got angry.
Went like that.
I like the fact that they keep him in a cage even though he's killed someone. Like he's a wild animal, so they would have probably shot him straight away.
Well, no, the whole point is that he was a scientific research thing, so they didn't kill him, and they kept him in the cage because he killed someone, and they couldn't trust him. Like, as much as I'll shit on this film, I don't see anything wrong with that.
Okay.
I did enjoy her going like, it's not an animal, it's like a person, and then it's just like still a little bed of straw though. That's okay.
Yeah.
Doesn't need a pillow or fucking a mattress or whatever. Like,
I mean, yeah, that would be too much for him. It's it's like guys who are at war for ages and they like can't sleep on a comfortable bed afterwards.
hey, it was ambiguous. I said I liked it.
Just offering Trog a mattress, and he's like, "Nah, I'm all right, thanks."
No,
He lays on it and goes.
Yeah.
Just lays on the floor instead. No, he
he
goes,
just goes, I will pass on the mattress. Emmanuel,
just,
closing thoughts. Oh no, I didn't realise you were eating. Sorry.
When Crawford said, I told you he was going to go to this like cave, natural habitat, whatever. I was just like, he just got there. It was quite obvious. He literally went through the town, and the cave was nearby. It's like cool.
I mean,
He
realistically,
happened
how
to
did he
turn
know
up
where it
there.
was?
Exactly. He just happened to be in the area, and then went, "Ooh, my cave." And
My
I was like,
My cave. My
You're
pristine
not.
cave that I've kept clean all these years.
These bastards, they come here, they blow it up.
They take my cave.
So that's what you needed. You just needed them to like lean more into the B moviness of it, and for Trog to go back home and be like, "Thank God, I'd never find one this tidy again."
That'd be
Actually, if they
fantastic
tried
though,
to-
going through the cave. There was like a little toilet in there. They're like, what the fuck's this doing here?
Yeah, like the water they jumped in wasn't actually a stream or anything. It was his bath.
You can see why he's angry in hindsight.
Oh,
Yeah.
it'd be
Yeah.
great if it was hot, and it's like his hot tub.
It was a cold tub, Dan. Gosh.
I don't know how it would have worked, but if they had made it into a comedy, that could
I
have
mean, it
worked as a
basically
B
was.
movie.
Or
I know,
someone's
but it wasn't meant to be funny.
Yeah, I feel like if they tried to make it funny, it would have been worse.
Oh, they could have had like a roll of toilet paper.
You say
It's
that.
just sandpaper, and it's like, oh, that's where his hair went.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Just spent years under there going, see what
This feels
happens.
nice.
I also feel like this is toughing me up for bullets later, just in case.
Yeah.
I am ready to deflect bullets and lift bouncy rocks.
Yeah, overall, yeah, it was alright. Had potential, but it was okay.
Piece of shit.
Yeah. Wish for more, but it was alright. One of the few times I disagree, John.
I didn't hear any of that because your connection is really shit.
Sorry, one of the few times I disagree with you, John. Normally,
Well, I
Right.
guess we're
quite
just
similar.
not friends anymore, then, aren't we?
I will say though, you say one of the few times, but you didn't even finish one of his films once.
I'm not counting that. That
I don't remember that. Yeah, I cool. Bullshit. I don't remember that moment.
I don't like counting the time I didn't watch Austin Powers.
It was so
Yeah, to be
bad. He
honest,
doesn't remember.
if anyone suggested, no, I remember it too well. If anyone suggests Austin Powers ever, that's probably going to be what happens with me. Just to let you know. I don't know. The thing is, the third one and the second one, I think, weren't as bad as the first one for me. But I think the first one, I've just been forced to watch it so much, I just couldn't do it anymore. I think that was my problem.
Oh man.
Must be a crazy place in that Birmingham over there.
Oh, the bit with the music in the film where he's listening to the classical and he's all like, "Oh, this is really nice," and then it goes on to the jazz, and he's like, "No, no," and I'm like, "That is me. That is my reaction to that." Like, stop it.
Man, how can you come out of this film saying that it was bad when you related to Trog?
Because Dan's realised his music taste is trash, and he doesn't. Appreciate it.
You too have a hairy face and shoulders, but fucking clear arms.
Hang on. We can't. I know we started talking about bad music, but you can't bring you two into it.
You too wander around in a loincloth and throw bouncy rocks at cameramen. You can't fucking. Sorry, I can't even do this. Sorry.
Yeah.
That was a nice closing statement.
So my movie.
Ben, closing statement. Fair enough.
He's related to Trog. That's what it is.
Yeah, I relate to him, and yeah, he's the underdog. He's the ultimate underdog.
I don't know. I feel like the dog in this movie was probably the underdog.
No, the undertrog, I should say.
The ultimate undertrog. Oh fucking hell, man! We could remake Trog and call it that. The ultimate undertrog. I'm writing that down.
That's making me want to reduce my score now.
Don't.
I mean, he was an undertrog. He came from underground.
Oh, that's the point actually. what does everyone want to nominate for this round? Because we're now at the end of it.
Did we not already do all that?
We've already done it. It's just Humphrey and Emmanuel that needs
Is it
to.
me?
Yeah, Humphrey, Emmanuel.
Humphrey, what do you want to vote? Your
Mm.
choices are The Room, Howard,
Oh, it's the
The
room.
Duck.
It's the room. It's
Oh.
actually the room.
Oh,
Sorry,
no
but
worries then. I'll
I
just slot that right in.
That's what she
Right.
said.
well, she
Not
didn't
End
do
of
that in the room.
Days. You don't want End of Days?
No.
Can you tell me the options again, Alex?
Okay. For Emmanuel's benefit and no one else's. It's Howard, The Duck. Probably not. End of Days. Judge Dredd. Trog. The Room. And The Wicker Man.
End of Days.
Oh.
Oh wait, no. It's a choice between End of Days and Trog. End of Days and Trog. End of Days. Why not?
End of Days. Yeah.
Come on, Pat, you can have that fist pump now.
Have that fist pump, Pat. You've
Yeah,
earned
you
it.
are all over again, isn't it? You celebrate and then you're like, hold on a minute.
That was so perfect. You were literally like,
He's just on the edge of climax. Oh no. Oh yeah.
Oh, that was so that had the potential to be really devastating.
What do you want?
Okay, end of okay, yeah. Right. The Room for me.
Oh dear.
I mean, The
hang
Room.
on, you can't pick the room, you said.
Oh, I meant for Humphrey.
Oh, because you said the room for me.
It's my film.
It's not.
Yeah, it is.
No, it's Tommy Morello, whatever the fuck his name is.
Tommy Morello.
I couldn't remember. And I'm pretty sure Tom Morello is like, isn't he a skateboarder or something?
No,
Or
he's
is he
the
a
guitarist.
musician?
He's the guitarist from Rage Against the Machine.
No, I'm not good at names, you know that.
Rob, why are there fucking scores in round 13?
Is there?
Yeah.
Really? Did I forget?
Where's round 13? I can't see any scores there. Oh yeah,
no,
there is.
can I?
That's all right. I'll get rid of him.
Wait, which part is it? The pick list.
No,
Are you
it's in
talking
the.
about at the top?
No. On the pick list, I've copied
right.
round 4, I think it is, or round 5, and I've
Oh.
just kept the scores in.
That's fine. I never look at that tab.
Don't have it, Alec.
So, Alec, what's won this round?
So Howard the Duck has won with yeah, it's got
Hang on, let me lower my scores.
5.2.
Oh,
The winner of
you
Bad
bitch.
Movie Round is Howard the Duck with 5.2.
Not such a rotten egg after all.
Typical Rob.
Fucking
Picking
boo.
Gross.
Typical Rob picking a good film. In Bad Movie Round.
I think it was good. I will die on that hill.
I mean, I
It
think
was-
I'm the only
it
one
was
you
a-
have to fight against, to be fair.
It was a film
And you as well.
about a duck.
Yeah, so it comes Howard the Duck with 5.2, and then End of Days is second with 5.
Oh, John, it was me and you who was just like, no. For everyone else, it's like, yeah.
Yeah.
And then
End of-
it's
End of
third
Days was
with
fun.
Judge Dredd with 4.2, and then it's fourth with Trog with 4.1, and then it's The Room with 3.4 somehow, and then it's The Wicker Man with 2.5, and then it's The Adventures of Shark Boy and Lava Girl with 1.8, our official worst rated film ever.
Ow.
So yeah, that's
Did good. It did good to beat the fucking. What's it called? The fall.
there we go.
Yeah.
That's how you do that stuff. John, what's your film?
Yeah, at least it wasn't scarring. It's a nice family film.
I don't know. It scarred
yeah,
me
but-
more than Antichrist did.
Yeah. Yeah.
What? No.
I haven't looked at Milk and Cookies in the same way since Sharp Boy and Lava Girl.
There you go.
Fanny the same way since Planty
Robert Jones would rather watch genital mutilation
You
at the hands of Rusty Scissors than watch a wholesome family film.
Not kids. So all the kids you know,
Read that film, man.
this film and have a good time with them. See, that sounds weird. Anyway.
I'd rather watch
Maybe
Shark
the
Boy and
Emoji
Lava Girl
Movie.
again than watch fucking Rusty Scissors.
See?
That's not
got
the
the
actor's
right
name.
idea.
Hang on, you're pitting two of your films against each other.
I'm just going to move this along and say that Bad Movie Round is over and that we're going to start with a really good movie, which is the 2002 movie starring Jet Li called Hero.
Oh.
No!
Ooh, I haven't seen that.
I actually don't think about it. Very quick.
It's very good, in my opinion.
I'm looking forward to this.
Well, and many other opinions looking at Rotten Tomatoes earlier.
Hero Academia.
My Hero Academia.
That's the first one.
Yeah, no, to be fair, when I first looked on the website, I just searched Hero and it was like, My Hero Academia. And then there were, I can't remember what the other one was, but it was another one that we knew. And I was like, I should probably just search 2002. And then I was like, yeah, there we go. But yeah, it's only available on Amazon to rent. I do have a digital file for it. If anyone's desperate and doesn't want to rent it, then I was thinking I'll ask Rob to give me his Dropbox details or whatever, and then I'll put it on there.
Yeah, that's fine with me.
But out of curiosity, has anyone seen this film before?
I've seen a bit of it
No.
in film studies class.
It rings a bell.
I
Not all
can't
of it,
say if
though.
I have, but I'm quite curious as to what I used to do on my IMDb account because I don't remember seeing this, but I've rated it.
Is it 8
Did you
out of
rate
10?
it 8 out of 10?
I was going to say that as well.
No, it's rated 9.
Fucking hell!
I'm removing the rating because I don't remember watching it. So either that, or I'm being hacked.
No.
I'm quite excited now actually because I thought at least one of you would have seen it before. Like, I especially thought Emmanuel would have seen it.
I reckon you probably did what you did with the Lighthouse, Pat. You probably fell asleep and then woke up like, oh, I'm quite well rested. That's a 9 out of 10.
That's a 9 out of 10. I feel great.
I've only ever seen one Jet Li film.
What? How?
Was Hero the
Hang on,
film that
wait.
he said he was going to be? Oh.
Just making sure before you say anything. Make sure it's not a spoiler, but carry on.
No. Was Hero the film he was saying was going to be his last one? Was it that
Oh,
one?
I've got no idea.
Might
Was
be.
Hero the one where the bad guy's his father?
No, that's Star Wars.
What? Anyway, I feel like I might have seen part of it, but for whatever reason, I never ended up seeing all of it.
I mean, it is also 19 years old. So.
No, but I used to watch like most of his films that I could get around watching. But obviously, I'm 12. We only have so much kind of control of what we can get our hands on. So I think I might have watched part of it, but I never got to finish it.
I'm curious now, Pat.
What?
Which Jet Li movie have you seen?
Lethal Weapon 4.
No.
Oh, he's in that.
Hang on,
Yeah,
you
he
haven't
is.
seen
That
Lethal
doesn't-
Weapon 4?
Well, no, hang on. That doesn't count as a Jet Li movie. We're talking about him starring.
He is starring. He's the
Fearless
villain.
was the one that I thought was the only
Oh,
one,
yeah.
but he's been in Expendables.
Wait. But sorry, I didn't catch what you said because people were talking. Which one?
Fearless.
Oh, yes, a good one.
Oh, to be honest, I thought if there was any film that you would have seen with him in, it would have been the one.
Fearless. It's the one where he's got the.
Because the one's got Jason Statham in it as well, so I thought you'd have seen that.
Nah, not seen that one either.
Yeah.
That's also on my list, just so you know. As is, what was the DMX film called, Rob?
Oh, Cradle to the Grave.
Yeah, that's it. I knew it was something to the grave, but I couldn't remember. Cradle to the Grave, actually a pretty good film as far as I remember.
It was all right. Yeah, it wasn't offensive.
I'll be back. I need to piss.
Quick, everyone leave. When Alec definitely can't hear me right now.
Welcome to round 9, bitches. Thank you for indulging bad movie round.
I actually quite enjoyed Bad Movie Round.
I enjoyed it.
Never come back.
I enjoyed Bad Movie Round. Now I think that went all right.
Yeah, it was good fun, and it's just a shame that Pat's a bit of a Nancy, isn't it?
A Nancy.
Oh
No.
Oh,
Ben, you can't say
Right,
that.
stop